Israel is one of the nations that feels most threatened by the possibility of Iran, which calls for the destruction of the Jewish state, becoming nuclear armed. So Israeli leaders have praised their U.S. counterparts, such as Vice President Mike Pence, for threatening to pull out of the multilateral deal that freezes Iran's nuclear program for more than a decade. In a recent speech to Israel's parliament, Pence said the deal merely delays the day when Iran can acquire a nuclear weapon, an outcome that he said the U.S. will never allow. Even though Tehran says its nuclear ambitions are peaceful, many in Israel dismiss such assurances.
We are working all the time on the international arena, trying to keep the issue on the agenda, not to let the world believe that in the last couple of years everything's already fine because a deal was signed and many important players, the United States, China, Russia, European Union, are all behind the deal. We have to provide information, and we know for a fact what the Iranians are up to.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whose residence is down the street behind me, has joined the U.S. in its campaign to press European powers to toughen the Iran nuclear deal that they have championed for so long. Some Israeli security analysts say the Europeans have to change course and admit they were wrong about how the deal would affect Iranian behavior.
They don't feel well with the fact that the Iranians continue to enhance their long missiles capability. They know about the terror organizations and networks that the Iranians are building around the world. So they might say, okay, we think it's very bad to change the agreement, but the circumstances might lead to the Europeans to understand that there is a need to contain Iran, and the way to contain Iran is by cooperating with the United States of America.
But Europe so far shows little sign of that. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini says such concerns are outside the scope of the nuclear deal and should be resolved in other forums.
The unity of the international community is essential to preserve a deal that is working, that is making the world safer, and that is preventing potential nuclear arms race in the region. And we expect all parties to continue to fully implement this agreement.
Ephraim Halevi, former chief of Israeli spy agency Mossad, says the EU is right to focus on preserving the nuclear deal, particularly through boosting trade ties with Iran.
Economically, to open up areas of commerce and areas of tourism and areas of industry and areas of communication in order to allow the Iranian public at large to benefit from the fruits of the agreement.
But with U.S. officials calling the agreement a disaster, the Trump administration says it is working with Britain, France, and Germany on a fix. It says U.S. energy sanctions against Iran will be reimposed if that fix is not agreed to by May 12th. Michael Lipin, VOA News, Jerusalem.